Okay, guys, this is what's going to be probably the longest report of the day, but it's definitely going to be something I need to talk about. Since I don't have my normal quota of 4 stories to talk about, there wasn't enough really important national news for international news for 4 story. Like I said, I do global news from an anti-globalist perspective. That's my thing. That's my shtick. But I also like to know what's going on in my own country. And right now, since I didn't make my regular quota for global stories, I will have to suffice with this. So, Bernie Sanders called Donald Trump a pathological liar. What are you doing, Bernie? You're not a psychologist. How can you just make a claim like that? What are you doing, Bernie? He's not a very smart man. He really isn't. Oh my god. But Sanders spoke out against Donald Trump at a New Hampshire rally, saying that he was the most dangerous president in modern American history, and calling him a pathological liar who embarrasses the United States on a daily basis. According to a Press TV report, a source that is very questionable, so I had to fact check thoroughly, and believe me, I did. This turned out to be legitimate. Bernie Sanders had said, further of President Trump, he does not know the difference between truth and lies. As many of you know, all over the world today, there is a great struggle taking place between a growing authoritarian and democracy, and Trump is consistently on the wrong side of that struggle. Time and time again, he has words of praise and affection for those leaders who despise democracy while picking fights with longtime Democratic allies. Democracy is about serious debate over public policy and not having a president who is a pathological liar and has told thousands of blatant lies since he is in office. Now I don't care. People in democracy have different points of view, and always have conservative friends that we argue, we have a debate, but it is not acceptable to me, and I think not acceptable to the vast majority of the American people, no matter what their political perspective is, that we have a president who simply does not know the difference between truth and lies. And according to Bernie, Trump is a demagogue who lies about the mainstream media, calling them enemies of the people. Bernie complains, saying that Trump should take responsibility for his actions, instead of saying that everyone is lying about it. I agree, he should take responsibility for his actions. So should we all. But he's not lying. Most everything he said has turned out to be true. Anything that hasn't simply has not been examined enough yet to determine whether it is truth or a lie. We all know why Bernie's really saying this. It's because he's decided in his mind that Trump is the enemy, and he's just going to be wrong, period, no matter what. Trump could say the sky was blue, and Bernie would argue that he was wrong. I guarantee you. He just decided in his mind. He's determined to see Trump as the enemy and as being wrong. The media has been lying about him. There have been whistleblowers who have admitted it. Lifelong journalists who are on the left who've been saying it. All the coverage on Trump from the mainstream media, 90% or more, has been all negative. They have not had one positive thing to say about him. Now, of course, if you're on the left, you might assume, well, that's because there is nothing positive about Donald Trump. Negotiating North Korea and getting North Korea to denuclearize. Is that negative? No, of course not. Bottom line is, there's no single person on this planet that is all negative. Everyone's got something positive about them somehow, somewhere. This kind of black and white bullshit is retarded. Bernie's just bitter because he lost the presidency. Plain and simple. Either that or he honestly believes his own bullshit, in which case, that is just sad. The last few quotes from Bernie are as follows. Trump told the world very clearly how he feels about democracy and dissent when he refused to criticize Saudi Arabia after the despotic regime murdered a journalist in cold blood. We are running against a president who is undermining American democracy as he leads us in an authoritarian direction. The last quote concerning the election to Reuters in an email. I'm sorry, Bernie is the real authoritarian here, since he is a socialist, as is AOC. And as anyone should be able to figure out by now, socialism in any form cannot work without big government. And what is big government? What is Big Brother? Simply put, that's authoritarianism. It's obvious that Trump is more of a small government guy. There's been fewer regulations on the marketplace, for instance, than there has been in a long time. I think really he's been deregulating a lot of different stuff. In fact, the only thing he's clearly regulated is the military. So what's so authoritarian about Trump? I don't get what he's saying here. Also, we're not actually a democracy. We're a constitutional republic because we have rule of law. Pure democracy is literally mob rules. The difference between a democracy and a republic. A democracy is a system where the people vote for the leader and vote on every decision, major decision. However, these votes are decided literally by majority rule. A republic is a democracy that has the additional element of rule of law. We have laws and rules to make sure that majority rule doesn't become toxic and become bad for the country. These Democrats don't even understand our nation's constitution. They don't even understand the nation itself. They can't govern. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're idiots. What's more, here are the traits of a pathological liar. See if any of these fit Donald Trump at all. 1. Statements made by the pathological liar have an unreal quality about them, i.e. they're very fantastic and over the top. But nothing that Trump has said has ever met that definition. He's never said anything about himself that makes him seem, out of this world or bigger than life. A pathological liar may concoct lies in public to gain attention, i.e. making himself out to be a victim or a hero in a story. And I suppose that could apply when he's talking about the mainstream media, but as has been proven through evidence and through example, the mainstream media does lie about Trump. So he's not lying about that. They begin to believe their own stories. You tell a lie enough times, you actually kind of start to believe it yourself. So that doesn't apply either. One of the simplest ways to identify a pathological liar is to catch their lies. Except, no one's actually caught Trump in a lie. No one's actually done it. Pathological liars are likely to get defensive even if an innocent question is asked in relation to the given situation. Trump has been asked many questions about his situation. Has he become truly defensive? One time. Even once. No, he has not. These liars have no remorse when lying. Trump has shown remorse over certain things. I've watched his interviews. There have been times where he literally was trying damn hard not to cry in front of the interviewer. He was curving his lip inward because he was, that's what people do when they're holding something back. Whether it be holding back a word or holding back an emotion that they feel that it's inappropriate for them to express. Like, he holds back his lip and his eyes, they start to get wet. You can see the tears welling up. He shows remorse. And of course, the final sign of a pathological liar is that these people do not value honesty and are known to relate events and incidents that have been told in confidence with others. In other words, they tend to whistleblow and tattletale a lot. In short, the only one of these that really applies to Trump in any way might be the concoction of lies in public to gain attention. That's probably where Bernie got the idea from, because of about the mainstream media. But trust me, Bernie's not a psychologist. This, I literally did this off like a cursory search on DuckDuckGo. All I had to do was like take a 2-minute cursory search on the internet and completely destroyed Bernie's claim. This is not a smart man. This man, Bernie Sanders, is an idiot. And the fact that anyone wants to vote for him at this point is simply unbelievable. It is simply unbelievable. And as dumb as he is, AOC is even worse. And anyone can see that. Bottom line is, Bernie, if you're going to make claims like this, know what the fuck you're actually talking about, please. Or at least have something reasonably intelligent to say. Otherwise, stop wasting my time. I'm not even kidding. Anyway.